Derek, the subject of death is becoming more into the orbit of open discussion, including in the public in various forms, and the biology of death is an important one. Can the study of paleontology in the fossil record is, in a sense, the story of death, death of individuals, death of species. What can that contribute to our philosophical understanding of death?
Yeah, you're exactly right that not all the fossils we have, but some of the classic examples of fossils are remains of animals that died, and understanding, interpreting those. And I should say plants as well, and understanding and interpreting those fossils actually requires thinking about what happens to an organism after it dies. What are those processes? There's a whole field called taphonomy, the study of the fossilization process, which really focuses on this. Yeah,
and it's also pre-death, the causes of death, because what caused the fossil death is a critical factor, whether it was a sudden inundation from a tsunami or a flood, or certainly the recent evidence of very far implications of the mass extinction events that you see. You can see results from it 1,000 miles away, tracing the same elementary characteristics.
Yeah.
So cause of death as well as fossilization deal with the philosophy of death. What are some of the thinking in that area?
Yeah, good. The causes of death, sometimes there's interesting evidence of a cause of death. You can see, maybe like bite marks on a skeleton or something like that. Sometimes it's a little hard to tell. Sometimes, you might, based on kind of where it's found and what the stratigraphy looks like and everything, you might suspect that, maybe if a bunch of animals died together, if you find a bone bed or something, you might think, these animals were buried in a flood or a sandstorm or something. Sometimes it's really hard to tell, and so this is maybe one interesting kind of piece of what paleontologists do, is sometimes trying to figure out, what actually caused the death of this animal.
And were there any deeper philosophical implications about the need for death? Because we have a lot of people. We have gerontologists. We have people trying to extend human life, and everybody wants to live forever. But the fundamental nature of death is exemplified in the fossil record, and if we're part of this process, the death of ourselves and maybe our species is part of the longer term picture.
Right. I'm going to pick up on the very last thing you said there, Robert. There's a long and interesting tradition of people drawing an analogy between species and then individual organisms, with the thought that the extinction of a species is analogous to roughly the same sort of thing as the death of an individual organism. And of course, extinction is right at the heart of everything that paleontologists do. And so one really interesting question is how strong that analogy might be. Yeah.
And does that have implications for modern extinctions, even though humans are driving it? Is that just a normal part of the process?
Yeah. So this is relevant to contemporary discussions. So some environmental ethicists, for example, actually make arguments that work with that analogy between extinction and death, and they'll say, the argument is that it's the reasons why it would be wrong for us to cause a premature extinction are similar to the reasons why it would obviously be wrong to kill.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So if you kill a species, it's the equivalent of killing an individual, which has bigger moral commitment.
We'd have to be a little careful. I don't know if I'd say equivalent, because species aren't persons, and they're distinctively bad things about ending a person's life. But some of the some of the things that make it bad to cause an extinction might be similar to some of the things that make it bad to cause a death. Yeah.